Peace to the tribe. Peace to the tribes. You know, I say peace to the tribe because, you know, there is a specific tribe that I'm attached to, that we're attached to. So, you know, it's always good to come to this specific tribe to build with in particular. You know, this particular tribe, I always know in the back of my mind, no matter what day it is, what time it is, what night it is, you know, this tribe is always going to fall through. And then I say peace to the tribes because I understand that there's a collective of us, right? A collective. We are high in numbers. We are high in vibration. We are high in numbers. So to the collective, at whole, at large, I say shalom. You know, because there's different sections to the tribes. And individually, we are each a tribe within multiple tribes. And we identify and surf the wave together as a collective. But even within that branch, we have another branch which I specifically refer to as the tribe. So I say peace to the tribe and peace to the tribes, man. We're just getting a look at the new revamped site that is naturalbylaw.net. Welcome to your natural gems and stones. As you can see, this is part 3, and we're just helping you discover the power of spiritual healing as you unlock your mind, body, and soul with naturals, gems, and stones. Shalom to the real ones. Aha. I understand that it's quite of a different look from about the last time. You know, and when you're dealing with major life changes, you know, things happen, right? Sometimes things don't go the way you planned, and there's separation involved, and the home, you know, breaks apart for a certain amount of time. So going through, you know, all of those things, man, a casualty of that was the website. You know, deepest apologies to everyone that was affected. But, you know, you're looking at a revamped version of what we got, remix, so to speak, if you will. And, you know, we're building upon that fresh wata, that fresh breath. All right, that fresh flow. And we're just building with the loved ones. You know, every purchase made here at this site definitely helps within the flow, the key of things, as I like to, you know, call it, the transference of energy. You know, I like to look at it as the recycling symbol. Everything is connected. You know, nothing's ever wasted. And, you know, just to make this drop, I had to come out of pocket, you know, just to get back right. Laptop ran out of space. You know, memory was needed to build. Had to get, you know, the subscription renewed for this month to go ahead and even record what we're presenting today for this presentation. So a lot goes into this. Everything that is sent our way, my way, is definitely appreciated. So, you know, as we get acquainted and we're just building up, you know, we're just charging up our eyesight, getting it ready for that quartz vision. If you're coming in hot off part 2, you know, we're building on that quartz vision right now. So let's enter the supernatural. Aha to the supernaturalist. That is my young one. Peace to the tribes. You know, and it's just a reflection of what of course, we once had. We'll definitely get back to it. Just a reminder for everyone that could be surfing the web for the first time around. You know, we had beauties to behold. Definite. Okay, so this is just some of the material that we've had. I remember when we first popped off with these, it was a beautiful flow. A lot of people came at me kind of sideways with these too, you know. As soon as I broke them open, I had a lot of support from the jump, and at the same time I had a lot of people pissed off. They tried to do the same thing. Inspired a lot of folks to, you know, jump in as well. It's crazy because as soon as I got ready to share with the tribes, with the loved ones, you know, it was met with a lot of resistance. But we definitely will be getting some more. These are always a beauty right here. We got a couple of these left. Peace to the real ones. Here we go. Quartz. So I hope you got your quartz vision ready. So we definitely going to be seeing a lot of clarity, dragonfly 360 perspective on this build. Peace to the real ones. Aha to the creator. You know, I just want to, you know, go ahead and get that build as we allow the proper energy to set. Also, as we welcome in the real ones for coming through. Peace. Alright. So, aha to that. We're going to go ahead and get started. Feel free to browse and catch up at the site. Alright. Get in touch with us. Check out our shopping tab, man. See if there's anything you'd like to, you know, set up for yourself. So we're gonna go ahead and carry on with this build. Shalom. Oh, Hawa, we come to you and we ask in the breath of the great spirit as a humble, appreciative frequency and vibration that as we prepared this presentation for the tribe, that you guide our energy and our frequency to the correct and necessary channel that is intended for this build. We also ask ahead of time that in the process of building this presentation, if we happen to slay the hijack, that you reinforce us with your energy and vibration, that we may be successful in our intention. For we know these are the airwaves that be, and we know our power and fight is in those airwaves and the principalities that be. So we ask for reinforcements of what we're carrying out. To those that we may offend, we ask that you bestow upon them the message as it was intended to be. And if they happen to be a target, well, may they be a target that you wish to have us hit. For those that come across this presentation and this message and find it inspiring, we ask that you continue to spiral them up into the 9 ether And we ask that you bring them restoration as they continue to build upon this journey and surf the wave within this flow. Live from the ethers, we ask you, Hoa, Hoa, the breath, the great spirit, for just a wonderful, beautiful build. We ask that you cleanse the airwaves as we begin to supply that Wata. We ask all of these things with clarity and quartz, dragonfly perspective, and so shall it be. Don't allow others to make your path for you. It is your road and yours alone. Others may walk it with you, but no one can walk it for you. Accept yourself and your actions. Own your thoughts. Speak up when wrong and apologize. Know your path at all times. To do this, you must know yourself inside and out. Accept your gifts as well as your shortcomings and grow each day with honesty, integrity, compassion, faith, and unity. I have made myself what I am, in the words of Tecumseh. Shalom to the real ones. See, when we talking about keeping the code, we're just talking about the frequency. And because we're aware of this frequency, we are aware of the channels and tuning that exist. And within these channels and within these tunings, you find streams. And there is a vibrational frequency war going on. Our perspective and objective is to side right back with the 9, the elevation, as we seek out harmony and clarity. Alright. We're just talking code, we're just talking frequency. Keep this in mind. If we're talking code, we're talking frequency, we're talking natural sequences. Alright. The 10 Indian commandments. Treat the earth and all that dwell thereon with respect. Remain close to the great spirit that is Hawa, your breath. Show great respect for your fellow beings. Give assistance and kindness wherever needed. Do what you know to be right. Look after the well-being of mind and body. Dedicate a share of your efforts to the greater good. Be truthful and honest at all times. Take full responsibility for your actions. When we're keeping up with the code, we stay in the reflection of the sequence that is the vibration. We're still talking 9. Commandment number 4 for this 10 Indian commandments threw me off. The working together for the benefit of all mankind is something I'm just not too sure about. You know, you can't work for the benefit of all mankind because not all of man has you in benefit. If we're of the same wave, the same reflection, no problem. No worries, I can definitely build with like-minded individuals, spiritually attached on this journey. I can definitely dig that, but for the benefit of all mankind, knowing what we know, knowing where we came from, knowing where we're going, I'm not sure it's in the interest of the wata that we provide. But nonetheless, we're still talking commandments, we're still talking knowing, we're still keeping the code. Looking behind, I am lifted with gratitude. Looking forward, I am filled with vision, quartz vision. Looking upward, I am filled with strength. And looking within, I discover peace. Hawa. Hawa. We just talking shalom. Alright? We're just talking shalom. And when you're talking peace, it's hard to gain peace without proper orientation. And when we're talking proper orientation, as you can see, we're talking about the map upside up. Alright. Now, as you got in part 2, we were dealing with the East, the Orient. Okay, when we flip the so-called landmass accordingly, it just makes perfect sense. It's pure water. Alright, when we're talking about the upper region, so to speak, south raising toward up, if that's the direction, the top, the tip of the top. When we're reaching toward the sun, all of the lands southward represent the natural harmonic flow, right? When we're talking about carbon-rich individuals of the land, carbon-rich individuals of the land, all right? Carbon-rich individuals of the land, and we can see if you're applying the science of the equator and its effect on pigmentation, so to speak, it's kind of perfect, when you're looking at Canada, when you're looking at Alaska, seeing how it bridges over into Siberia, connecting to Russia, when you see all of this happening the way that it is, when you're looking at China the way it would be in between, you can see India, you're looking at Africa over here, alright, we're looking at Australia. It makes a lot of sense. This is in frequency. We're talking cold. Alright? Orientation pies can definitely make you feel good during a rainy day. Out here in SoCal, we're going through this so-called atmospheric river. It's a little light work for us. It's a little light work. Nonetheless, we can take a Wata day, We know what the Wata represents. The mem. We're just in the flow. Shouts out to the real one. Alright. I mean, even when you're talking about the backside of so-called South America, alright, it makes sense. The weather, the snow, it's on the backside, not really getting as much sun as the coastal areas this way, right? You look at the land this way and it's pretty coastal. It's pretty tropical, it's pretty warm, it's pretty nice. Alright, so now that we got our orientation set, remember we're talking to Orient, the East, the true East. Alright, China would be literally the Middle East. Alright. You know, and digging on what we were building on, I mean, if I go back one time, it makes a lot of sense when we're looking at New York being on this side. Alright. Keep in mind as to why I say that. Alright. They always want to say it's not about the phenotype. It's not about the skin tone, but it is, my nigga. It is. Because that's the very thing that they use to separate you. That's the very thing they use to separate us. As we see Easter woodland culture, Iroquois Indians of New York. So these are Iroquois Indians of New York. Alright. Always important, because they don't want to refer to you as the Indians anymore. They're not trying to refer to you as the Indians anymore. Alright. Iroquois Indians. They're not trying to refer to you as the Indian no more. They rather call you a guardian. They don't want to see you with your feathers. Because see, they remember just how far you fell. You know, and the distraction is real, right? Because when you look at what's really going on, you got those of servitude, right? I mean, just peep the scene. You know, they remember. See, I see something like this and I'm already knowing just off the bat, off the rip, like, we're talking ether wars, right? Wars of the ether. Wars of the ether. And again, we're just talking feather headdresses. Because today we're going to really touch on the significance of these feathers. headdress. Alright, I highlighted it in the last time as a pinpoint, but we're gonna really break it down. Alright. Because although they want you to think otherwise, it's important that you just remember what your status was. You know, never forget, never get it twisted. Because we're still talking ether wars, right? You see the clouds. Alright, we're still talking feathers. Yeah, man. I don't see us stopping anytime soon. We're just getting back to the source, to the breath, to the charge, to the powwow. We're just getting back to your 432. That is your ancient love song, your ancient frequency. See, we still talking feathers on you. You're gonna see why. Alright, definitely are going to see why. So we're gonna do our thing and jump into something else. Peace, peace. So see, I wanted to share just exactly where I got this significance for the feather in the first place. As you can see, we're talking Hebrew characters derived from the hieroglyphics. Special ahab out to Israel Redemption, because I remember when she first introduced this. I remember being able to dig on it and find it. And wow. Also keep in mind, right, the image of the said serpent around the egg. Alright, put a little time stamp on this. Alright, just hit pause and remember to come back to this later on in the drop. Alright, so we got hieroglyphics. Alright, we got Hebrew alphabet and characters. Also, keep in mind when we're talking hieroglyphics, we are specifically speaking on telepathy. See, this is why they like to write this off as prehistory and say that basically cultures with no evidence of written formation weren't civilized because there was no phonetic speech. But that's because during the time of hieroglyphics, if you will, we were still in our telepathic state. We were still involved with moving things and using the mind, merging it with the expression of the emotion. Whereas in today we speak. Alright, so during these times of hieroglyphs, I like to refer to them as the Zet Tepi. The Zet Tepi being what the Egyptians referred to as the first time, or as I would say, the time of the originals. You know, and when she presented this document, along with a lot of other different interesting finds that she had, it kind of, you know, made a lot of people feel a certain way. A lot of these channels you see today that are often doing well for themselves are actually upset at her for not sharing, being so generous with the information. At the time, you know, I can understand, because it left a lot of people in a drought. Especially, you know, being the young sponge that we were back then. Alright, so we're talking hieroglyph, the transition, the character, the ancient name, and then the meaning. And also, as a side note, we are talking about a so-called Western Semitic language. This Western Semitic language is, you know, one of the many different variations of languages obtained right here in the lands of America, that the Khans of Tameri had an experience in breaking down. Alright, so we got the first one, odd, as in a man, simply odd. Alright, pay attention to that. But I want to bring your attention specifically to the Ha. The Ha. Alright, and look at the symbolism for the Ha. We are talking about the breath. Okay, we got the characters that basically transition into later letters. That's what we call them today, letters. But these characters stemmed from hieroglyphs, and hieroglyphs was the expression of telepathy. So this expression, ha, they're gonna put hey, but the ah is the root pronunciation in ancient Hebrew. The ah. So we're really in the ha sound, right? We're talking the breath. Right up under it, you see we have the feather. What they want to say is the Vav. Now, right away, I'll let you know that when I first brought this document to my my play, I got a lot of criticism, right? They're like, no, that's not what it is, because I said this was the variation of the Wa, because the Wa sound does exist in our Hebrew, the Wa, right? But the context on where it's written, I felt like was hidden in this document, in this term, and they said Vav, right? Vav. And when you think about W, a W is just really two V's, right? So I'm like, man, they hit us with the Wa, and everybody was like, nah, that's not correct. But what they didn't know is that, I had a deep reasoning for feeling that way, for surfing that wave specifically. I was on that frequency, that channel. So today I'm going to share exactly what. Now, like I said, this document possesses a lot of information, right? When we're talking about the ancient tongue. I think one of the things I remember mentioning a lot was the fact that the ta right here is spade, and I was like, dang, man, you know, when you think about spade, you automatically think about Negroes, right? Negroes in their spades, man. A spade is a spade, right? That's something that we always say. When you see it, you see it. You call it how you see it. Spade is a spade. Negroes in their spades, man. Card games and everything. You know, I remember that was always part of the barbecue, playing spades. If it wasn't spades, it was dominoes. Also, I wanted to bring to your attention the eye. The eye. Alright? Not only are these meanings, but they're also words, and not only are they words, but they're also letters, and not only are they letters, but they're also sounds and pronunciations, and not just that, they're also hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics, all right. You know, again, when we're talking about sounding and pronunciation, nah, right? Nah, that is a term, a sound, a frequency, a vibration we still speak in to this day. Nah, we speak like that still. I remember when she first highlighted that, I caught goosebumps because I was like, what? We still speak like that. When you pay attention to mem, right? You pay attention to the symbol. Because right now we're talking ancient Hebrew hieroglyphs, which could also be translated into ancient Hebrew telepathy. We're talking mem as far as the wata, right? But if you remove that I and you put in O, what do you have? If you take out the I and you put in O, what do you have? Mom. Right? That's what you have, mom. And when you have mom, well, I'm sure that's where the majority of us, one way or another, got our introduction to that wata, that mem. It was through ama, mama, mom, mem, mom. Alright? We also have lion, you know, keep these things in mind. I, right? Some of these monosyllabic forms I have found ready to my hand. Others I have discovered in derived nouns or verbs. I now proceed to give each letter with its ideal character and hieroglyphic form, and also the original name of that hieroglyphic at the period when the language became phonetic. Alright, so don't get it twisted. When we're talking hieroglyphs, we're just, you know, we're still talking emoji. Emoji, hieroglyph, emoji. It's the same thing. And when we're on the basis of communication, well, you know, text messages used to start out something plentiful, right? Paragraphs of words, aim and sidekicks, and even before that, when we're talking about, you know, just a Nokia phone, the brick Nokia phone with no color in the screen, sending a text, right? Well, these days, as we supposedly advance technologically, the less you say, the more meaningful the text. We're finding new ways to abbreviate words that are already pretty much abbreviated, which lets you know that we're moving back to the telepathic way. Text messaging with emojis is a sign of telepathy, the instant receiving of an electrical current by way of thought transmission, but without verbally, phonetically speaking. This was probably the first articulate sound uttered by man. It signified earth, as in mold. It was soon superseded by the word Ad, signifying red earth and man, which afterwards formed Adam and Adama. We do not know the exact sound of this letter. It was certainly a consonant and probably guttural. The hieroglyphic from which it was formed was the picture of a man. Ad, a man. Alright, hence its ideal meanings. So get that breakdown. We're talking about Ad. So Ad is really the man within Adam. And there's reasons for that, right? Because it's a continuation or a run-on of a name or vibration or a frequency. This is why we say Adam doesn't mean a name. Adam means man. Man, okay, in general, as of the earth, the red earth. So if we're talking about the red earth, then we're really just talking about the red man. And if we're talking the red man, you can't say the red man without the Marukan. This is why, this document was so impactful, especially back then. You know what I'm saying? Surfing the wave. Alright, so pay attention to this term right here. Alright, we'll jump back into that. Without this C being here, I'm already thinking Hawa, straight off the bat. But they're talking about speech. They're correlating and tying this into I will open my lips. The hieroglyph, being the lips, right? But what I want you to bring your focus to is this right here. This letter, which signifies the breath, was expressed by the act of breathing. It is said that it is found in its first sense of Job, what looks like to be 37 verse 2. Now, they put the G in here, but I'm pretty sure that G has a J sound, right? Haja, haja. Now watch how they switch this G-J sound, J, into the Y, alright? Because remember, we're talking about the breath. We're talking about the act of breathing. Hear attentively the noise of his voice and the sound that goeth out of his mouth. Haja being explained as that which goeth out of his mouth. So notice how they're tying in the sound of the mouth with the breath. They're tying in the sound of this hajj to the sound of the breath, the expression, that which goeth out of his mouth. It is likewise found in the verb hajj, to be, to exist. Haja, to be, to exist. Haja, to be, to exist. Today they say Ja, right? But when you've been surfing the wave as long as we have, we see Hawa. We're gonna get to it. We see Hawa because there was no J pronunciation in this ancient Hebrew. It was represented in the hieroglyphics by a picture of nostrils. Ha, the breath, hence its ideal meaning. So they say these are the nostrils. This is circulation. This represents the breath. Alright, so when you think about the little man that's made out of the Hebrew hieroglyph, you can see that this right here is true because this is always what? The chest, the body, right? The cavity of breath. If these are the arms, this is where his neck and shoulders would be, right? The head is usually up here with the body down here and so forth and so forth. Okay, we're talking the breath. So they said the Haja, to be. We know Hawa means to be, to exist. We know Hawa means to be, to exist. Furthermore, Ha, the breath. Ha, the breath. Ha, Wa, the breath. Hence its ideal meaning. Nostrils, breath, life, living creature. Okay, we're getting to the feather. Now notice it says Vav was the hook, or literally wing or feather, on which the curtains of the tabernacle were hung. It was so called from being in the shape like a feather. The hieroglyphic of this letter we find in its primitive sense in the verb have. Right, have. But we already saw that the term is ha. Right, ha. So here they're finding correlation with the feather. And now you can see the significance of the feather, right? Because not only is the feather a letter, but it's also a sound. And not only is this a sound, but now it's being attributed back to the name of the creator. We're talking breath and feather, feather and breath, breath and feather, feather and breath. They are synonymous. They go hand in hand, both dealing with the air, the element of air. Keep in mind, if you are rich in carbon, if you are carbon rich, then you are elementally rich. Because carbon is an element, air is an element. We are speaking elements. Alright, in two places where the verb havav occurs, it borrows its meaning from the metaphor of a bird. Alright, havav. But we know this is Hawa. We know this is Hawa. They're trying to say Vav was the hook, but we know this is Wa. Hawa. Hawa. Watch. It says Vav, a feather or wing, hence its ideal meanings. Feather, lightness, motion in air, bird. But this is Hawa. Alright, all of this is Hawa. And this is where I got that breakdown from. This is why I said the Vav was really the Wa. And everybody, they freaked out on me, man. Like, big up. They really freaked out on me. They say, man, what are you doing, Natural? What are you doing? For he says to the snow, feather, be as feathers over the earth. Cover the earth, right? Feathers. All right. Also want to bring you down to this. Alright, because this is the bottom half of the man that we were talking about. Okay, it says represents the breast of the bosom. It was figured by two arms being bent towards each other. Okay. This is supposed to be the female ornament, a girdle embracing the body and in the shape like the leather, the two hands meeting. It is also found in Ki, life, literally eye of bosom. Now we're back to the eye, right? Eye of the bosom. And in Chava, which is the first woman. Now we know Eve was also named Hawa, right? She has a correlation back to being the life, the key to life, Hawa. That is the living thing, all right? The living creature. And even when we go back, I told you to keep your eye on this, right? Chava, or the Kava, right? So see, as we see it again, the Kava, but now we're talking the first woman of the breath to speak. So we're talking about Hawa. Right. Also keep in mind in its ideal meanings, we're talking about bosom, we're talking about love, we're talking about concealment, we're talking about darkness, we're talking black. We're talking bosom, we're talking love, we're talking concealment, we're talking darkness, we're talking black. We are talking black. We're talking darkness, concealment. Now make another timestamp right now. Press pause, take a screenshot of the time right about now, because we're going to definitely be able to reference back to this point. But keep in mind, right, concealment. Something of the bosom is, something kept close, very dear. Endeared, love, right? Concealed. You're holding this darkness and this black really play. All right. So keep that in mind. We're definitely talking about it. Here's more, references to the bird. Hollowness, lightness, emptiness. Man, it's crazy how the vibrations be intertwined, as you'll see coming up. But I want to bring your attention to what looks like to be a crown, right? The hieroglyphic crown. Now also when you're thinking of headdress, when you're thinking of feathers, you see what I'm saying? When you're combining the fact that feathers represent the breath, feathers is in the pronunciation of the Creator's name. When we're talking vibration, when we're talking frequency, we're building charge, we're Hawa, we're breathing. This is the Creator's name in ancient Hebrew. Ancient Hebrew of the Amricans, the Khans, right? We're talking crowns. This letter was the representative of the rising sun. That luminary was drawn with 6 rays like a double. Okay? 6 rays like a double. Six rays like a double. Okay, so then they did it twice. 6 rays. Okay. And 3 appearing form this letter. It is found in the word. Oh, I see it now. See, when you break it down like that, you can see. Wow, that's amazing, right? Shemesh. In the word Shemesh, we're talking about the sun. Shem being the root. The sun. Shem, sun, crown, head dresses with feathers, right? Sun, hence its ideal meaning. Sun, rising, fire, light, white, teeth. Alright? So keep in mind, we're talking about our ancient frequency, our ancestral language. Our ancestral tones, vibrations, ancient love song. That is 432. That is 432. So we're going to go ahead and continue on with this magnificent build, if it's okay with you, Shabbat. Peace, peace. So now that we're acquainted with our feathers, now that we know that our feathers are of the air, of the breath, of the charge, ultimately of the ether, when you put something with this magnitude, with this frequency, with this vibration onto your head, what do you think is actually taking in place? Furthermore, what message are you giving off? What is the frequency of your crown? Don't they call it a crown chakra? What is the significance? We are talking high frequency vibration. And this expression is with the appreciation of the ether. See, this regalia lets me know that they were very in tune with the air, very in tune with the movement of the ether. It's a beautiful flow, Shabbat. It's a beautiful flow. See, we got that Ad within Adam, right? Adam. Ad was the red man. Alright, when we get the Pickaninny, do your definitions on the Pickaninis. Refresh your memories on the Pickaninis. This was an Indian tribe in Peter Pan. And I know what they're going to say. It's not about that, natural. It's not about that, natural. But yes, it is, if it means what it means. And I happen to be someone that it can be referring to. So when you see the chief talking about red man, and it's a red man thing to smoke the peace, the shalom, we're talking about the breath, the vapor. This is the way of the red man. We're talking Adam, Adam, Adam. We are talking to specific people. We're always going to be talking to specific people. We're just keeping the code. Alright? We're just keeping the code. If that's alright with you. And now that we know that the Creator's name is attached to the frequency of these feathers, the air, the breath in the air and the breath. You need the air to draw the breath. You exhale the breath to create the air. See, the feathers have a lot to do with the expression, because we're talking a science, a recognition in that science. We're saying, hey, we realize that it takes a lot of focus. We realize that it takes a lot of energy. We realize that it takes a lot of concentration to produce color. It takes a lot of pigmentation, concentration, electrical energy to create color. As one might expect from the amazing diversity of colors and patterns exhibited by more than 10,000 bird species found in the world, birds can see color. The colors in the feathers of a bird are formed in two different ways, from either pigment or from light refraction caused by the structure of the feather. In some cases, feather colors are the result of a combination of pigment and structural colors. The greens of some parrots are the result of yellow pigments overlying the blue reflecting characteristics of the feathers. We're talking pigmentation. Alright, let's get this real quick. It's a beautiful thing, Shabbatai, when you're talking spectrum. This is what I mean. Peace to the tribe, but then peace to the tribes. Peace to the tribe, but then peace to the tribes, man. Pigmentation are colored substances that can be found in both plants and animals. The colorization created by pigments is independent of the structure of the feather. Pigment colorization in birds comes from three different groups: carotenoids, melanins, and porphyrines or porphyrines. I don't know. But peep it. Okay, we're getting back to that sun, right? So it's amazing how when we're talking pigment, when we're talking carbon rich, melanin rich, we're still talking sun and light. Absorption and reflection. It's a beautiful thing. says the red of the northern cardinal comes from a class of pigments called carotenoids. Carotenoids are produced by plants and are acquired by eating plants or by eating something that has eaten a plant. Carotenoids are responsible for the bright yellow seen in goldfinches and yellow warblers, as well as the brilliant orangish yellow of the male Blackburnian warbler. Carotenoids can interact with melanins to produce colors like the olive green of the female scarlet tanager. Alright. Carotenoids. Here we have the melanins. Melanins occurs as tiny granules of color in both the skin and feathers of birds. Depending on their concentration and location, melanins can produce colors ranging from the darkest black to reddish browns and pale yellows. Reddish browns. Alright, reddish browns. Melanin provides more than just coloration. Feathers that contain melanin are stronger and more resistant to wear than feathers without melanin. Feathers without any pigmentation are the weakest of all. We can't make this up. It says feathers without any pigmentation are the weakest of all. Feathers without any pigmentation are the weakest of all. Alright? Reddish browns. We're still talking reddish browns. Many otherwise all white birds have black feathers on their wings or black wingtips. These flight feathers are the ones most subject to wear and tear. The melanin causing the tips to appear black also provides extra strength. I mean, we can't make this up. Alright, we cannot make this up, and we don't. Beautiful specimen right here. Alright. I mean, yeah, we just doing our thing, man. Peace to the real ones. Cause see, you know, they gonna try to hit you with the it doesn't matter about the skin. It doesn't matter about the skin. And I mean, that's true to a degree. And you know, normally with that, there's two types of thinkers. You have internal thinkers, which internalize their thoughts and aren't so quick to share what it is that they think right away. Right? Because they hold on to their thoughts like jewels, like gifts, like prizely cherished possessions. And then you got those who are external thinkers. These external thinkers, they share their thoughts out loud. They want people to hear them. They want to change the way you think. They want to put their thoughts out there and see who challenges them. They sometimes want the challenge. And within these two, sometimes you have a combination of both. And it's really what most believe to be the expression of this intelligence that makes you higher up or not. It fuels the ego, but it's not about the expression of your intellect. It's about the awareness of your intellect. Because if the skin is the largest organ in the body and it covers the body's entire external surface, well, that basically means that what you learn and what you know is based off your skin. Right? The information that processes in your skin heavily impacts the information entering your body. And we're going to challenge the thought process. We're going to figure out which thinker you are. Are you an internal thinker or are you an external thinker? Because the external thinker 9 times out of 10 will say it's not about the skin. It doesn't matter. But here in this article, we read it does matter. Alright? We read that feathers that contain melanin are stronger and more resistant to wear than feathers without melanin. So when they tell you skin doesn't matter, when it's the largest organ in the body and covers, there goes that word, right? Covers. And you'll see why I'm referring to that right now. It is made up of 3 layers, the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis, all 3 of which vary significantly in their anatomy and function. Crazy. Because we're back to that 3. We're just following the sequence. We're just following the spiral. Alright, so because we're following this spiral, we're checking out the etymology to skin. And the first thing that we're being shown is animal hide. Now, if you notice, we always coming back to some animals on this channel, even when we're trying to talk about Etherians. We get back to some animals. It's like we can't get away from the animal. It's like we can't get away from this kind of man. I'm not the one doing it. Nevertheless, right, we're trying to figure out the meaning of skin. We see that the usual Anglo-Saxon word is hide, meaning the epidermis of a living animal or person. Hide. So let's dig on this, right? We're talking hide. It says hide is the skin of a large animal. Hide is the skin of a large animal. Hide a skin. Skin. Hide also, right, means to cover and conceal. To cover and conceal. Now remember I told you to go ahead and hit that timestamp, right? To cover and conceal. Hide means to cover and conceal, but we're talking about skin. Because they tell you it's not about skin. Skin isn't important, but skin is the largest organ in the body. And it covers the body's entire external surface. So how can it not be about the skin? How can the skin not be important? Furthermore, what's going on with this conceal to cover. See, when we go back to our images, we got bosom, love, concealment, darkness, black. Concealing. Alright, shutting. So we're talking to conceal. But what's being concealed? What is being covered? Well, the skin is concealing or covering something from someone or something. Here we have literally skin or complexion or hue. Hue being what? Color, pigmentation, hue. It's a beautiful flow. I'm talking hue. Alright, so this is hide. We're talking about skin. Skin hiding or concealing what? Your complexion is hiding what? Concealing what? Our picture was telling us concealment, love, darkness, black. Alright? They'll tell you it's not about skin, and at the same time ignore some shit like this. Alright? They'll tell you about copper tone. Right? And tell you it's not about skin. Skin doesn't matter. Well, if skin doesn't matter, why is this sunscreen called copper tone? Huh? Why is it called copper tone? With the little dog attached to her. It's an American sunscreen. Alright. Copper tone. They'll tell you it's not about skin and skin doesn't matter, but then turn around and ignore copper tone when we know that the true original con of America were the copper colored races that were found here by these Europeans. So those without copper tones were found, or those without copper tones found the copper tones and then replaced them, taking their name away and applying it to themselves with the highest exaltation of pride. Of patriotism, their patriotism. They stole your name with pride and then tell you that skin doesn't matter. Alright, that's how they get down. But what is the skin hiding? What is your complexion hiding or concealing? And is this out of love? Is this out of darkness? Is this some type of black magic? Well, when we're digging on the sun, the etymology gives us the sun as a heavenly body or planet, daylight, the sun, or the rays of the sun, all right? The sun. So I saw this breakdown. We followed through with it, right? So soul, right? Soul, the sun. We're still talking about the sun. Sunlight, heavens, sunlight, the sky, heavens, the sun, okay? Now, seeing how soul is connected to soul, I thought, well, hey, look that up, right? And it was the sun personified. The sun personified, right? And that threw me for a loop, because to personify something means to humanize it. And when you humanize it, then that means you're basically making it personal. You're comparing it to a living, breathing being. Soul, or soul, right? A personified sun. That means a human sun, or a humanized sun. Well, that very much made me think of soul. A soul is a substantial entity believed to be that in each person which lives, feels, thinks, and wills. All right? A substantial entity. A substantial entity believed to be in that each person which lives, feels, thinks, and wills. It is the spiritual and emotional part of a person, an animate existence, life, living being. Now it's telling you that is of uncertain origin, but we're phonetically breaking down. Because we know that sun being in relation back to Shem. Remember how we got that in the beginning, Shem. Now keep in mind, soul also coming from or belonging to the sea, which is that Wata. The sea, which is that Wata. The sea, it comes from water. This is also important when we're talking about water, the soul coming from water. Alright, we're digging on a substantial entity believed to be that each person which lives, feels, thinks, and wills. we are also talking about an instinctive quality felt by Black Americans. Soul is an instinctive quality felt by Black Americans. A spiritual sustenance. Alright. Combining elements of Black singers. Elements of Black singers. Spiritual substance. Alright. That can be felt by Black Americans. We're talking about soul. Alright, soul. Soul. Which is that substantial entity believed to be in that each person which lives, feels, thinks, and wills. Coming from or belonging to the sea. Soul being the sun. The main element of the sun, hydrogen or hydrogen. Hydro being water. The water gene. The sun is filled of water. Despite common belief. Soul. Alright, so what is your skin hiding or concealing from you? What is your complexion or your hue covering? Right? To personify is to attribute a personal form. When we're thinking about solar, soul, the sun, it is the activity of the sun. The involvement of the sun, right? Solar. It also has a meaning of the living room on an upper story, which is perfect because if you can imagine a house, now you're talking about something of the upper status, right? An upper status of a particular area or space, a particular space, okay? A vision of a particular space. We're pertaining to the sun. Solar. Okay, so when we're thinking of weather and air, the sun directly impacts the atmosphere, which influences the air. So the very air you breathe is charged by the sun. Alright? And this sun is polarizing and charging up the air. Now, as you can see, when we got back, soul, it had I as a meaning. Alright, I as a meaning. And it was saying that this I was related to sun. What the hell's going on here? So when we dig on eye, we have eye, which is the region around the eye. We have the term aperture and hole, which ultimately we use to see. Okay, the eye is an organ of vision, to see, to behold and observe. All right, to behold and observe, cause to see. this word stuck out to me, right? So I did a little digging on it. Aperture is an opening, hole, or gap. Very interesting choice of words, right? An opening, hole, or gap. You normally don't think of those words when thinking about an eye. But on the opposite note, we have a space through which light passes an optical or photographic instrument. A space which light passes an optical or photographic instrument. Right? So something that light passes through. An aperture. So it's a hole or an opening that light passes through. So the receiving of this light allows you to see. Right? So now we dig on hole. We have hollow, concave, hollow place, cave, orifice, perforation. To hollow out, to cover, conceal, save. Now this is deep. We're getting deep, right? Now we're getting back to it, because now we're getting back to this. To cover, to conceal, to save. We're talking about I. Now, I mean, if I'm looking at this correctly, if this is a space which light passes and travels through, and I is connected back to soul or soul, which is the sun, and the sun is the light, then this is telling me that part of the eye's functioning is, where is it at? To see, right? To see or observe sunlight. Simply as that. Simply as that. The eye is to observe the light. The light of the sun. The sky. The heavens. So we're talking a little sun gazing. We're talking letting that light hit the back of your eye so that you can see. In order to truly see, you have to observe the sun. Interesting. And if I has a connection back to whole being to cover, conceal, and actually save, but now we're getting back to the same function as the skin. Because we're talking skin meaning to hide, to cover, conceal, whole, to cover, conceal. But wait, I told you to keep that timestamp in mind. Concealment. We're talking about the first woman. Concealment. It's very interesting how a woman tends to conceal, cover, hide her love, her bosom. Conceal those things. Interesting. Keep them safe. Right? So now we're talking about whole being the same thing, which is of the eye. Here we're digging on hollow. Hollow is whole, right? A cavity. It means the same thing. To cover, conceal, and save. Very interesting, right? Cover meaning to protect or defend from harm. To protect or defend from harm. To cover, protect, conceal, dissemble. To cover, overwhelm, bury. To close, to cover. Alright? We're talking about cover. Because we're digging on this concealment. What is the complexion of your skin concealing or covering for your protection? What is it defending you from? What's so harmful that your complexion, your skin has to give you strength? It has to make you stronger. What are you being protected from? Conceal. Conceal is to keep close or secret, to forbear to divulge. To hide. So this concealing is the skin. The covering is the skin, which means that the saving is in your skin. That means to be saved, you have to have the right skin. You know what I'm saying? You have to have the right skin. Save, to deliver from some danger, rescue from peril, bring to safety, prevent the death of, to deliver from sin or its consequences, admit to eternal life, gain salvation, make safe, secure, redeem, protect. Save is connected to soul. Soul, your complexion, your hue, literally saves you, saves your soul. Saves your soul from the soul. It protects your soul. A substantial entity believed to be that in which each person lives, feels, thinks, and wills. Your skin saves you. Alright? From all of that. When you absorb this light, you are being saved, right? Because your genetics are not being destroyed by UV light. See, a lot of people think this light is innocent. It's actually out here destroying shit. That light is out here actually destroying shit. It's destroying shit. And if you can't protect yourself from the light, your genetics get destroyed and fried, right? Isn't that what cancer is? Air and invisible gases that surround the earth, the atmosphere, breeze, weather, air, lower atmosphere, sky, mist, haze, clouds, later atmosphere, to blow, breathe, which is of unknown origin. Windpipe, the artery, right? The aorta. Thick air, mist, later air as one of the 4 elements. Alright. Words for air in Indo-European languages tend to be associated with wind, brightness, sky. It says air replaced native loft. Air was used of any gas. Okay, air, which is directly impacted by the sun. The sun. Alright. You then turn into breathe this air which saves you. Let's dig on this aorta. Now, I found it very interesting that this word aorta is the second element in the word meteor. Aorta, meteor, it's related to meteor. So I'm like, wait a minute, air related to meteor. Yeah, that makes sense. We're talking dracons, right? Dracons fly in the air, and dracons need the air to be a dracon. So we're talking air, right? Air. Well, when I dig on meteor is any atmospheric phenomenon. Any. Alright? It is also the celestial phenomenon, things in the heaven above. Literally, thing high up. Meteor. Right? By means of meta, which is to raise, to lift, hold, suspended. A fireball in the sky or a shooting star, meteors, aerial meteors, wind. Meteors, right? So we're talking meta. Well, let's dig on meta. When we're digging on meta, we're getting the after, beyond, among, between, changed, altered, higher, beyond, in the midst of. Alright? After, next after, behind. So the meta, so when you're looking at the energy, right, you sit up here and you harness enough energy, you intake enough energy of the sun, of this light, of this battery, this source. You absorb enough, just enough, to the point where you save yourself and return back into the element that you are by way of being a meteor, a dracon. That that pushes you off into the metaverse. But the real metaverse, this metaverse being the metaphysical. Now we're talking ether. You're going to the higher, the beyond, your energy that you stored by absorbing this light, by charging on this breath. Hawa. This air is directly related to the ether. We're talking transcending, overarching. We're going high up. We're talking quartz vision. We're going high up. Because when we're digging on the ether, we're talking about the upper regions of space. The upper pure bright air, the sky, the firmament. I'm talking the upper air, the bright pure air, the sky, which is to burn, to shine, to burn. We're talking firmament. And when we're talking firmament, we're talking the expanse. The expanse of ether above the earth where the heavenly bodies move. Hence the arch or vault. Okay, and if you're paying attention, we just did the meta. Okay, the visible sky. Talking about something solid, something that spreads out. It is firm and it is solid. The firmament. So we're gonna go ahead and continue on. Peace. It says the old ideas of what the earth was like. Says one idea in the very long ago was that the earth was surrounded by water. Alright. It says the Hindus used to think the earth was born on the back of a tortoise, which is funny, right? Because I mean, look at this. You know this is talking about America, Turtle Island. The Hindus, right? And in part 2, we were already discussing the Hindus. Because we already are overstanding that this is India superior. Alright? So if the earth is on the back of a tortoise, Turtle Island, we're looking at India superior. We're talking about America. They attributing to the Hindus. Okay, here we got an early Greek map of the world thousands of years ago. Alright. Furthermore, when just looking at the shell of a turtle, you can see the cymatic expression. right? The frequency of a shell, of a turtle. You can just easily start to put this together. We're still talking vibration. Okay, this is part 3. I'm showing you how the ancestors saw things. You know, everyone's always talking Tartaria, but it's like they forgot Mama. They forgot Abba. They forgot the flow that really set it off. I mean, we're talking ancient. You know, we're not talking Tesla ancient. We're talking the shit that inspired Tesla. Atomic lines of force in man, the atom in man, and man in the cosmic type atom, the Adam Kadam of the Kabbalistics, also the Sephirotic tree of life. It is similar to the Merkaba or chariot of Hawa, which Ezekiel saw by the river Chabar and said it was a will within a will of energy worlds. The Lord as spirit energy above, and the 4 divisions of air, fire, water, and earth substances typified as man, lion, eagle, and bull, and the cherubim as cosmic energy. Alright, so we're getting an example of how this ether is channeled throughout the body. Alright, now notice we have the spiral or the 8, right, which is in perfect harmony with everything else. So when everything is congruent, you can't be hijacked. You know, that 440 don't matter when you 432 all the way up to the max. That 440 is nothing. In fact, it's in here, right? Because technically this would be the 440, but it's in harmony with the 9. In perfect harmony. Three types of etheric energy waves. The vertical mind energy waves from the North Pole, the head, and South Pole, the feet. The anterior and posterior on the right and left side. The vital neuter energy spirals. Anterior from the umbilicus, posterior from the end of the spinal cord at the 12th dorsal interspace and at lumbar vertebrae. And you have the horizontal sun and moon path energy from east to west, front to back, etheric and magnetic atomic type energy spirals which tie into the central core as a sustaining life breath. Alright. So we're breaking how this is affecting, and you see what I was talking about when it comes to the Merkabas. I'm telling you, anything riding around in a metal object is not a chariot of the Most High. Something coming from that, it has to be pure energy. If not, it is in the form of a human, of a man, of corporeal form. Those are the rules. If you are not pure light, popping out of a dimension or doorway, existing as that energy alone, you need a form, and that form has to have a body. And if it's not going to be some animal hybrid, it has to be a man. See, here we have the crown chakra, right? Taking its access points all the way to the so-called galactic center. Higher and higher. Now, keep that in mind how I'm mentioning this galactic center, and, try your best to remember what this looks like, because we'll touch on this soon. Alright, but this is how you access the ether field, the etherical from within. Alright. So see, they have the condensed elemental vehicle, and then you have the etheric body, alright, which they say is here. Then you have the astral body outside of here, and then you have the lower mental body. Okay, when you boost up, you choose up. This is why we say vibe up, choose up, vibe up. You jump into that higher mental vehicle, that Merkaba. That transmits you higher and higher until you get here. Alright. And remember, we talked about the monads and so forth. But your connection, your antenna never decreases. If this is little old you, it never decreases. In fact, it is amplified, which is why we encourage, we inspire. Right? Now, that's why we hit Hawa with an affirmation in the beginning build of this presentation. Alright, this is how the ancient Etherians did it. And this was replicated in everything that we did because of what the energy was and how it coincided with the earth. We're talking high vibes. Right? We're talking high vibes. Shalom to the tribe. I hope everyone's vibing high right now. It's a beautiful flow. We are touching a lot. I know. But it's about time Natural, really broke it down and got it explained. Legacy of the Black Gods in the time before time. This is us, the Zep Tepi. Alright. Notice how they'll talk about the Akashic records. We're talking what you used to do, how you used to be able to tap in. We're talking ancient. Alright, the first time around when it was at its highest, they still scratched their head about the feats your ancestors left behind, because the expression showed that you had interaction with so-called extraterrestrials. This at one point was a meeting ground, I remember seeing this documentary of the Brotherhood of the Galactic Federation, and they talked about stars, planting star seeds right here, right? Which is why it's so-called carbon-rich folks, carbon-rich people, high in complexion, rich in complexion, all right? We are often multiple star seeds mixed with other so-called stars, which stretch back for eons upon eons upon eons, right? So we know, as far as carbon-rich people, melanin-rich people, we understand this connection, how it goes back far. But you also had other things that manifested. And, you know, I know a lot of people like to say reptilian this and reptilian that, but you have to keep in mind, right? Reptilians need the sun. Okay? Reptiles need the sun. Reptiles do not thrive in cold. Okay? They do not thrive in the cold. Alright, so reptiles need that sun. When you see the sun out, reptiles are taking a sun bath. They sunbathe and sun gaze. Keep in mind that everywhere you go on the earth, wherever there was a high civilization, it was capped off by some form of reptilian creature. Not to say that it was a reptilian thing, but to show significance in the relation to this sun. It was a harmony thing. So wherever you saw the serpent, you knew that there were people of the sun nearby. I mean, when we're talking about so-called dinosaurs just being another word for dragon, the earth at that time had to be in temperate fashion, tropical fashion. Dinosaurs are not living in an ice age. So for reptilians to come and alter genetics of human beings to create a race of reptilians designed specifically for them that can't process well in the sun doesn't make sense. You would have more in reptile or in common with a reptile than they would. Alright. So we're gonna go ahead and continue on to the next one. Peace. So when we're talking about the land of the Ether, the Etherians, you know, there's a couple of things I love to point out. We're not gonna so much dig on the etymology, but we will say that according to Perseus Project, this designation properly translates in noun form as burnt face and in adjectival form as red brown. Alright? As such, it was used as a vague term for darker skinned populations than the Greeks since the time of Homer. So darker than the Greeks, and it's already been noted how dark a Greek can get. So the land of the Ether, alright, were given the name because of their complexion, because of their skin. Well, it matters, right? It matters. When we're talking about the Ethiopians, we're talking about how they are found at the east and west extremities of the world, divided by sea, eastern at sunrise and western at the sunset. Stop playing with this, man. Alright, the king of the Ethiopians, of the Etherians. Alright. Being the dark-skinned tribes. Talking about the tribes of the boundless blackskins. Okay, because we're talking about half dogmen of the underground. You see what I'm saying? See, Natural's been telling you about these dog heads, these underground caverns, these caves. Sheesh. Okay, we're talking high soul Ethiopians. Now, if you really look at this, they're telling you before it got to what it was, the way that it is. Because you got dark-skinned Libyans, then you have the high soul Ethiopians, then you have the underground folk and the pygmies. You got all of this popping off, and no, they are not the same. You know, I get it. So-called Caucasians, right? Being the middleman, and there being a black nobility, a black power that gave this middleman authority. But this is how I see it. If there was a plan to come in and invade my house while I was asleep, and I'm waking up to an invasion in my house with someone, the middleman, trying to kidnap my children, trying to disrupt the peace that I've built and gave my everything to protecting and providing for, if this middleman is caught in the act, it wasn't the middleman's plan. But best believe this middleman agreed to come to my house in an attempt to kidnap my children. I have to meet this middleman with the utmost hostility of defense. And once I cross out the middleman, then believe I'm going to the source. I'm going to the originator of this plan, the one that kicked it off into motion. Oh, believe that. So I'm not concerned about the middleman when everyone's in on the plan. They said it was a confederacy against thee. We talking Psalms 83. Alright? So now that we build on that, and now that we're connected and we're understanding just what I mean, right? This is from an excerpt of the title, A Universe of Consciousness, How Matter Becomes Imagination. Alright. This book begins with the wonderment expressed by the neurophysiologist Sherrington. When I turn my gaze skyward and I see the flattened dome of the sky and the sun's brilliant disk and 100 other visible things underneath it, what are the steps which brings this about? A pencil of light from the sun enters the eye and is focused there on the retina. It gives rise to a change, which in turn travels to the nerve layer at the top of the brain. The whole chain of these events from the sun to the top of my brain is physical. Each step is an electrical reaction, but now there succeeds a chain wholly unlike any that led up to it and wholly inexplicable by us. A visual scene presents itself to the mind. I see the dome of the sky and the sun in it, and 100 other visual things beside. In fact, I perceive a picture of the world around me. Alright. It says Edelman and Tanungi argue that this rendering of the world into subjective experience is ultimately explicable, but only by modern neuroscience. In the process, they take on the daunting task of defining and explaining, in the role of newly inspired frontiersmen, a host of issues: memory, thinking, conscious and unconscious experience, the idea of self, mind/body, and above all, natural selection and its profound shaping of brain function. Alright, so I thought that was pretty interesting because we're talking about neuroscience, right? And if we're talking about neuromelanin and how your crown chakra can access the ether or the akasha to maybe heighten and cipher energy to the point where you're maximizing your potential as you draw in, right? You draw inward. So here we have ether was the primordial of light, right? And the bright blue ether of the heavens. His mist filled the space between the solid dome of the sky and the transparent mist of the earthbound air. In the evening, his mother drew her dark veil across the sky, obscuring the ether and bringing night. In the morn, his sister and wife Hemera dispersed night's mist to reveal the shiny blue ether of the day. In the ancient cosmologies, night and day were regarded as elements separate from the sun. Alright, it says ether was one of the three airs. The middle was air or chaos, a colorless mist which enveloped the mortal world. The lower air was Erebos, the mist of darkness which enveloped the dark places between the earth and the realm of the dead. The third was the upper air of ether, the mist of light and blue of the heavenly ether. Alright, the ether envelops the mountain peaks, clouds, stars, sun, and moon. So, mountaintops and everything, man. Right, especially when we get into the Hindu Kush, the mountain range up top, where they say that Hindu Kush really meant dragon slayer or Indian killer. It's pretty interesting. Here was an article talking about the firmament, but technically, as I'm looking at this, I don't really feel like reading all of this just to get to the point that I was going to get to. But this is a pretty nice article on an explanation of the firmament. And the reason why I had this up was because, it says that the ether resides in the firmament. So, as Ethiopians, you would have to have some relation to this firmament. And basically, this was my way of showing how. Right? For example, it says if we think of the firmament as something strong and solid, we can see it that way by understanding air pressures. Ancient people may not have thought of it that exact way, but the blanket of gases that envelop the earth are fairly solid if you think that they can burn up an object entering the earth's atmosphere, or bounce an object back into space if the entry angle is too shallow, be it a meteor or a spacecraft. You may remember the astronaut in the Apollo 13 movie saying, "At this rate, we're gonna skip right off the atmosphere and we're gonna never get back." Alright, so they break down the fact that it may be not being metal in the sense of we may think of it, but it does have a hard protection because it's made to cover. So in my understanding is the same way the firmament protects the dome. The same way the firmament protects the dome from whatever that's trying to penetrate the earth is the same way your skin and its complexion protects you from the damaging UV lights. Wow. So the firmament is like the epidermis of the earth. The firmament is the skin of the earth, and that would mean the ether is the skin of the earth. It's our skin. The ether is what strengthens our skin. Right? It is made in correlation to it. Alright, so I want to get down to this air, right? It says air equals gas. Heat a liquid enough and it'll evaporate into gas. Gas is a highly energized state of matter. The particles have all broken free of each other and move in random directions. As a result, gases are formless and often invisible. This makes them somewhat mysterious for humans. That's air, right? It says air, the mix of gases that we are so familiar with and depend on, is the element attributed with the qualities of lightness, energy, and warmth. It's also associated with intellect, intuition, and perhaps because gases are generally invisible, like human thought, we say things like, "Oh, I just plucked that idea out of the air." Right? Because the air is subject to spirits. It says when a gas is heated to extreme temperatures, the very atoms themselves are ripped apart. The electrons breaking free from protons to becoming free flowing, forming a plasma. Plasmas in nature can be found in lightning, stars, and some kinds of flame. Although most flames aren't really plasma, they are reacting gases. The element of fire certainly has many of the qualities of a plasma. Extreme energy and heat, a strong connection with light, chaotic behavior, weightlessness, and destructiveness. That's why working with fire energy and magic requires caution. It is extremely powerful, but can be dangerous. The word plasma often makes us think of futuristic space-age technology, and this can be carried across to fire energy. Use it when invoking something new and revolutionary. Alright, then we have the ether, void, spirit equals space-time. Okay, it says many traditions include a fifth element often called ether or void or spirit, which is the most mysterious element of all. It's either considered an everythingness, a pervasive force existing throughout all other elements, or a nothingness devoid of anything at all, or somehow a combination of the two. The author here equates the fifth element with space-time, the structure of existence itself, which results in gravity. Space-time consists of quantum foam, a seething sea of potential at the tiniest scale possible, in which virtual particles exist for almost no time before disappearing. It's the ultimate everything in nothingness, equating very well to the idea of the ether. Think of space-time when working with the fifth element, something infinitely unknowable, yet with infinite potential. You know, I think it's funny how no one really knows how to explain the ether outside of how I was able to correlate it with the firmament right now. You know, the ether being that charge, that connection to burn, right? To cut on. Only a Dracon can relate to, because a Dracon takes ether to produce the fire. Fire itself is not just something that exists. You can just walk by and see, oh, fire. It has to come from within something. It has to come from something. right? And Dracons have the capability, the powwow, to generate such a powerful force of energy by creating flames out of the breath. Wow. See here, we will have the firmament, right? And nothing is coming through that firmament, nothing's going out. And this will represent this layer of skin, right? If it's compared to the firmament, that's what I'm picking up. And furthermore, I mean, it says the waters of chaos are symbolized as a dragon. So now that we definitely understand chaos is gas and gas is chaos. It says the waters of the gases symbolized as a dragon. Now, what was I just saying about the Dracons being able to build flame? Now that we're applying gas, not being thrown off by the vibration of chaos, there's nothing to run from. And this Dracon wouldn't be something to be feared or anything to be scary from if it was the creator of these reptilian beings, people think exist today. This so-called serpent seed. Says the world is compounded of 5 elements: earth, water, air, fire, and ether. So too is our body. It is a sort of a miniature world. Hence the body stands in need of all the elements in due proportion: pure earth, pure water, pure fire or sunlight, pure air, and open space. When any one of these things falls short of its due proportion, illness is caused in the body. The body is made up of skin and bone as well as flesh and blood. And I wish we was building on more because it was going exactly into what I was saying. It's amazing how the body is made up of skin is first, right? Because it's the enclosure. Again, skin represents the firmament. So how can it not be about the skin, my nigga? Says the ether, the heaven, the brighter, purer air, the sky. Air, the 5th element, the divine element in the soul. So you remember how we were digging on soul, right? It says the divine element. In the etymology, we got that it was a distinctive. What was it? Entity, right? A distinctive entity. Ether is also a clime, a region. Aether, right? As in the Ethiopian. see what's going on. Now this is that ether space. Now check out how it looks like that galactic circle we seen earlier, right? When we were looking at the channeling of thought through basically neural melanin transmitters. All right, here we have air, fire, water, and earth. It says space is pure potential, infinite possibilities. Air has the qualities of movement and change. Fire is hot, direct, and transformational. Water is cohesive and protective. Earth is solid, grounded, and stable. We're going to carry on to the next. Here we have the Akasha, or the Akash. It means space, or sky, or ether in traditional India cosmology. Alright, the term has also been adopted in the Western occultism and spiritualism in the late 19th century. It says the word in Sanskrit is derived from root kas, which means to be. Alright, to be. So there goes the connection back to Hawa. There goes the connection back to the feather. Alright. It says the word acquires its technical meaning of an ethereal fluid. Imagine as pervading the cosmos, the sky, the atmosphere. Alright. In Vedantic Hinduism, Akasha means the basis and essence of all things in the material world, the first element created. First element created. Alright, so if we're talking the first element created, that should say a lot about you. It said, thus first appeared the space from which appeared air, from that fire or energy from which the water, and there from the earth. The upper sky or space. Alright. So, you know, we're digging on Akasha right now, seeing how it has meaning to soul tying back to the sun. Here we have Kundalini. Alright, the term Kundalini is from the Sanskrit and associated with the Indian mysticism, Tantra, and Yoga. The word refers to a living element in nature and is thus known in all religions by different names. In Judaism and Kabbalah, it is called Shekinah. Or the Shekinah, right? Shekinah flow. It says Kundalini, the serpent power or mystic fire, is the primordial energy or Sakti that lies dormant or sleeping in the Muladhara chakra, the center of the body. It is called the serpentine or annular power on account of the serpentine form. It is an electric, fiery, occult power, the great pristine force which underlies all organic and inorganic matter. Kundalini is the cosmic power in individuals' bodies. It is not a material force like electricity, magnetism, centripetal, or centrifugal force. It is a spiritual potential, Sakti, or cosmic power. Okay. Now it's crazy how it says, the whole universe rests in thy bosom. We was just digging on that. I'm telling you, it's gonna keep coming back. Right? That's it. So we got that a little bit. Let me dig on this next joint. Damn, why take me all the way down? I think I answered my own question. Okay, so when we get into the etymology, it says the Kundalini has a meaning of circular, annular, and it is mentioned as a noun for snake in the sense of coiled. A noun meaning bowl, water pot is found as the name of a Naga serpent deity in the Mahabharata. Alright. So, this Kundalini Naga energy coiling up like a serpent ties right back to the flow, to the wave. You know, keep in mind we're still talking ether. You know, I'm just showing you the connection, because once that crystal, that clear quartz hits you, man, that vision is gonna take off. Alright, so now that we got coiled serpent, this was expressed, right? You take this force, this ether, and you basically come here to harness this energy. You take as much time as you need, or as much time as you're allotted, and you charge up in hopes to power up your transformation. So when you release this energy, this Dracon energy back, you can shoot across the ether as an element, the same way you came, right? There's no real such thing as death, because that which makes you within still exists. This body may be retired, but the you within you exists. It still is. There's no stopping that. You got to keep in mind, it's a connection that can never be forgotten, because the same thing that's breathing air into us, that we are breathing from, is connecting us by that very breath. So if we're pulling on that, then the force being given to us is that connection. You know, whatever's powering the sun and sourcing the sun, whatever's giving us that energy, if we're able to take it and harmonize with it and not need anything synthetically to coexist, well, there is no separation between that which created the source of the sun and you partaking in the use of it. Alright? So, in the leaving or the achievement of this serpent energy, it allows you to be the meteor again. You become the meteor once again. And we're going to see how this was expressed and displayed in ancient America. Shalom to the tribes. So here we have an image of the Snake's Mound, Serpent's Mound, of Ohio, right? Now if you take this Serpent Mound and you keep in mind the Shekinah, Akasha, Ether energy, especially when you are talking ley lines, Dracon lines, sacred energy centers that possess great energy of the earth, natural free energy. Okay, this is why these things are studied so much, because they were created in harmony with the working, flowing ether. And its display is an expression of this highly achievable knowing, right? And you look at the design, you're starting out as the spiral, and as you stretch out, you get all the way up to what would look like the mouth or the head of the snake, and this egg or this meteor. And remember, keep in mind when we were digging on the hieroglyphics, the letters of the Hebrew script, it had the snake wrapped around the egg. So if you're seeing this as an egg shape, you're seeing the same energy, and this energy is the Akasha, it is the Shekinah, this is the Kundalini, the so-called serpent energy. This is nothing but energy from the sun. This is how your DNA spirals, transmitting that light into usable energy by way of your skin. Alright, just an idea of how it looks on the hill. Very spread out, I'm sure. But peep it. This is how the ancients express their knowledge of the ether. They knew exactly where the energy fields were and how to utilize them. Alright, so here we have the actual site for Serpent Mound. It says Serpent Mound is internationally known National Historic Landmark built by ancient American Indian cultures of Ohio. It is an effigy mound, a mound in the shape of an animal representing a snake with a curled tail. Nearby are 3 burial mounds, 2 created by the Adena culture and 1 by the 4th ancient culture. Thousands of years ago, native Ohioans populated the landscape with mounds and massive earthworks. In the late 19th century, Harvard University archaeologist Frederick Ward Putnam excavated Serpent Mound, but he found no artifacts in the serpent that might allow archaeologists to assign it to a particular culture. And, this is what they say about everything that was built with high reverence and respect. None of these places had anything that they can correlate to a people or a culture. They always say, we don't know what happened to the builders. They disappeared or they vanished or this and that. And it's a constant thing. It really is. All right. And then they'll tell you what they think it looks like or what it has to do with. And they really know, because they uncover these things. They go and dig and do all the findings first. And I'm pretty sure they're shocked into amazement due to their level of ignorance and, own prejudices that they provided for years and years without, in this so-called corporation of a country. I know people of today look at it like, man, you color folks be tripping sometimes. Y'all always think y'all know it all. Y'all always talking shit. You have no patience. Although you guys went through what you went through, you're just as prejudiced as everybody else, if not worse. You guys need to be on the chill pill. And it's fine, because at the end of the day, guess what? If you're not one of these people, right? If you're not one of us, you were awarded the luxury of being untampered with, having your genealogy intact, it not being destroyed, it having a trace, being accepted amongst civilization to continue to pursue school and education without prejudice, okay, without ridicule, without prevention or the corruption of information. A lot of things that you have to keep in mind that you're naturally awarded with just by living in a society or partaking in a society that spent hundreds of years stopping these people of color from succeeding in any fashion. And they had 40 years to themselves to what they can basically do what it is that they feel, and 40 years is enough. 40 years is all you need to make up your mind and be so haughty to these people. You claim you have love for these people and that you do this for truth, yet at the same time you're short patient, so quick to want to compete and go back and forth and debate and to argue and to basically engage in conversation. And it's because most of you people don't do this from a place of love. You do this to be right. Shalom. Says this prehistoric effigy is the largest serpent effigy in the world. So, out of all the things to give reverence to a serpent, the largest one in the world is right here in America, in America. You know, so the veneration of this so-called serpent energy has its highest appreciation right here. It says the first record of this monument comes from surveys conducted in the 19th century by Ephraim Squire and Edwin Davis. They reported it in their historic tome, Ancient Monuments of the Mississippi Valley, published in 1848. So much for modern Western rediscovery, but what is it and what was it used for, and who marshaled the extraordinary manpower required to build it? Okay, so they get into the size. It says the mound itself was constructed mostly from a layer of yellowish clay and ash that has been reinforced with a layer of rocks before being covered in soil. The head of the snake also looks like it's trying to consume an egg-shaped mound that is approximately 121 feet long. There has been some debate between scholars whether this shape is an egg, a sun, or remains some kind of focal ceremonial platform. Now it's crazy how we touched on both things, it being a sun or an egg. A celestial being, you know. It says archaeologists have debated the origins of the Serpent Mound for many decades. Despite excavations, there have been no artifacts or burials found that have been directly able to help identify when or why it was built. So see, no one knows. Right? No one knows. But we know, because the same thing goes for all these monuments that are built, and then, you know, suddenly you have Negroes vanishing. You have these Negroes vanishing, and then bang, all right? So that brings us to this point in which we will say that, yeah, man, you know, we're gonna go ahead and get into each one of these presentations if they allow us to. If they don't, then we will cut them off exactly where we started, in the front. And if we have to edit them out just for the YouTube, then we will. Just keep in mind that the unedited version will be up on the Patreon. We will go ahead and back that up, and you know, we'll go ahead and make a post and announce, if you know, just come through to the Patreon to catch the rest of this in its entirety. It'll be unfortunate, but that's the way it's getting these days. Alright, so shalom to the real ones. We're gonna get into it. Peace.
Point, if it has a point. If it doesn't have a point, the energy The energy of the crystal moves towards the point, if it has a point. If it doesn't have a point, the energy moves every which way. But if you have a point, the energy will move from the bottom through the point, as in a pyramid. It moves from the base up to the point. So when you wrap it with wire, you're just adding to the natural effect of conducting the energy. We're talking energy that you can't see or taste or touch or see. That energy is everywhere. We're getting into the quantum field now. That's the etheric energy.
That's the etheric energy. We're getting to the quantum realm now. That is the etheric energy. All right. Now notice how he said that with no problem. Notice how he's wrapping his crystals. Again, so once we start building on this, we getting into your crystals. That's why we opened up with the website. Go ahead and check it if you need to. We talking naturalbylaw.net. But yeah, that was an amazing flow right there. He's talking about etheric energy, right? Because this energy is around us. It surrounds us.
It's moving up through the point. So when you use a wire, you're just adding to the natural effect. If you didn't wrap the crystal with wire, it would still work. The energy of the crystal moves towards the point, if it has a point. If it doesn't have a point, the energy moves every which way. But if you have a point, the energy will move from the bottom through the point, as in a pyramid. It moves from the base up to the point. So when you wrap it with wire, you're just adding to the natural effect of conducting the energy. We're talking energy that you can't see or taste or touch or see. That energy is everywhere. We're getting into the quantum field now. That's the etheric energy. It's
peace. We're gonna carry on to the next one. Hey, all right, so here we have a video, as we can see, where, you know, this guy was testing between a PVC type pyramid and a copper pyramid. I'm not going to really get too much into his examples or his display. I just want to go ahead and show how he was able to track and trace the energy and measure it. All right. I just want to showcase the measuring of this energy right now, as we, you know, go ahead and develop this build. And again, just in case if this doesn't, you know, pass copyright, we will have edit this part out for the YouTube drop right about now. But we would definitely have it available for the Patreon. So shalom to the real ones. We're gonna get it. Peace. All right, so like I said, we're just gonna see how he was able to measure the energy. He has a device that basically shows what he was able to produce and how strong it is.
I'm going to start with the PVC pipe pyramid and test for universal energy. So you can see the energy field starts about 2/3 of the way up the pyramid, and we're going to test around the outside of the pyramid. Again, testing for universal energy.
Now he's saying universal energy. We're still talking ether. We're still talking that solar powered frequency. Okay, but now we're just looking at the measuring of such an energy, and we're displaying the reality of it, because pyramid power is also ether power. So if pyramids are able to replicate or even produce a small fraction or an example of this ether power, we're going to highlight it. And this is what he's been able to do successfully in his experiment example. And we're just, you know, showcasing that part. Peace, peace.
If you've seen our other videos, you may see that this the energy field is being detected a little bit further down than it would be on a larger pyramid, and that is due to the fact that in general the size of the pyramid does affect the total amount of the energy field. Now we're checking the inside, and you can see the area inside the pyramid, approximately 1/3 of the way down from the bottom, is optimal. Got one of our cats that's interested in what's going on here. So that's the energy field using the PVC pyramid. Now we're going to go over and do the same thing with the copper pyramid and check out its energy field.
All right, so like I said, we were basically getting an example of what he referred to as universal energy. You know, we already know that there's really etheric energy, and it was a pretty good example that was showcased through his experiment. This is the next presentation or video that I had next in the lineup. So again, if it worked and everything's fine and you're catching this as sequence with no skip, but if it didn't make it, this is just the explanation before we get into it. Obviously, it will be available for the Patreon, so make sure you go ahead and do that. All right, peace.
This is a simple echo. Actually, it's very simple to explain. When you clap in front of a pyramid, of a slope, the sound will go to the top. In this case, a pyramid. You know? And if it's there a cavity or a temple, like in this case, the echo will come back to you. If you clap in front of an Egyptian pyramid, nothing happens because the sound goes away. But here, the sound comes back. Why it sounds like a bird? Don't ask me that, because we don't know. But this is really impressive. Experts from different countries, experts in acoustics, they have come here to study, to try to know how this is possible. They leave the country just like they.
And it works all four sides the same.
Used to be. Now only two. Yeah, the north and the west. You see?
So we was, able to go ahead and get that example. We heard the sound. He said if you do that over at the Egyptian pyramid, you ain't gonna hear anything. Like, it's funny how they, be trying to talk shit amongst one another. But what's even more funny is the fact that he would try to pride himself on comparison, yet as a so-called native of that area, he don't even know the reason why it would sound like a bird or who built it or anything. And this is the problem when it comes to such structures, because they'll accredit it to the so-called natives of today, but not even they know. And I know there's someone in the back like, man, well, you don't know neither. But again, it goes to say that when you're withheld from knowing generationally, you don't have the freedom of practicing the language or having access to books and such of sources for 200 years. You know what I'm saying? Like that was perfectly fine for some folk, and it wasn't like that for all of us. So these things come in mind, man. These things take patience, and honestly, it's a testament for us to even be having this type of conversation on such a public platform in today's times. It's like a sign of the times, just from us fellowshipping and being able to do so with this expression, which is why I'm always so happy, so generous to do so with the Shabbat, that is the tribe. Every single build is a moment just like this. So, peace to you, man. Peace to the loved ones. I hope everyone's enjoying the flow. Go ahead and check out the site, naturalbylaw.net. See if there's anything you like. If you got any recommendations or special requests, let us know. Send us an email. We got you. We're going to go ahead and get to this next one. Peace.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So in the past, you were only able to park and down the front. You weren't able to climb up and down here?
This one on the north and west. Now, my friends, once again, please listen in this place.
Cute. First, same as the first one.
The same like that one. That means that only standing aligned to this staircase that is the north and that one that is the west, we can hear that noise. But amigos, it's not only clap for clapping. Remember, this temple was built in honor to Quetzalcoatl Kukulkan, right? And Quetzalcoatl Kukulkan is the representation of a bird on a snake. Amigos, that noise is one of the 400 voices of the Quetzal, the bird. So my friends, we have the noise of the bird. Where is the noise of the snake? Listen, please, not only this noise, right over there. You're gonna hear the noise of the snake. How? Listen. The bird and the rattle. Quetzalcoatl Kukulkan. And that's why, amigos, that's why it's one of the new 7 modern wonders all over the world. Come with me. There are 2 columns. Can you see those?
Yeah.
Can you see the shape of those columns? Can you see how we have 2 rattle snakes as a column? The top of the column is the rattle, and on the bottom is the head of the snake, once again with open mouth. And take a look carefully. There's a figure between those columns, right? A figure, amigos, in a slide down. That one is the Chacmol. Once again, that influence. Remember, before the influence of the Toltecs, the Mayans, they used to kill people where? On the cenotes. After that influence, on the top of that tent. And that's why take a look carefully. That was no bird.
No bird.
And amigos, that's why I told you only north and west. Why we cannot hear the noise in this place? One of the reasons, take a look how many stones we miss in this facade. Amigos, I told you 91 steps, and take a look, we have only 90. Unfortunately, the archaeologists, they couldn't rebuild this side of the temple because they couldn't find all those stones. But amigos, believe it or not, today we know where all those stones are.
All right, so here goes one of the last videos we about to do, showcasing pyramid energy. You know, because within this pyramid energy, we were able to relate it to the ether. So with doing so, we're showing, right, just how we've been doing this and in which way, and how even still to this day, it provides many unresolved answers, right? And again, we had the same type of technology that the Tartarians had here in America later down the line, but I'm showcasing in very remote time, in ancient time, where this stuff was, you know, replicated and expressed in a beautiful fashion. So we're gonna go ahead and get this one, and we'll be riding out. And once again, if you aren't able to get this and if it didn't make the cut, it is definitely edited out right about now, and it'll be available for you on the Patreon. Shalom.
So I'm trying to demonstrate here real quick the effects of freezing an Oregon pyramid, which is a piezoelectric circuit, over a cup of water. This is regular tap water. Notice how it creates an egg shape. This egg shape is dielectricity and magnetism. Dielectrical centripetal convergence, centrifugal magnetic divergence, creating the outward.
It's interesting that he's talking about an egg. Keep in mind that we were digging on the Serpent Mound and how they thought that it could be an egg potentially Also keep in mind how we were digging on the Hebrew hieroglyphs. It was that serpent as far as the egg goes as well. All right, so combining with the information that he's offering right now, like I said, it's a lot that goes into it that makes sense. And we're here just keeping track of it. The piezoelectricity, the type of electricity caused by a crystal, the spark, the charge. That is what we're talking right about now as we surf the wave on this magic ether buzz. Peace, peace.
Magnetic divergence, creating the outward pressure against the egg. Centrifugal, magnetic, electricity and magnetism, dielectrical, centripetal convergence, centrifugal, magnetic divergence, creating the outward pressure against the egg. If you study Tesla, if you look up Ken Wheeler, if you look up Charles Proteus Steinmetz, Michael Faraday, people that give us the modern day electrical world, it kind of demonstrates how the physics of electricity, how magnets work. This pyramid is resin compressed over and hardened over quartz and copper. The quartz being compressed is what's creating the piezoelectric circuit, low voltage. Now, this big of a piece of quartz compressed can light a lighter or a wristwatch. Now, if you imagine a big pyramid like the pyramids in Giza, imagine what kind of power that's putting out there. Low amplitude, but if they had ways to modulate, like using water, sound, which that's what the pyramids had, and then big sound chambers, and they were also built sometimes over water, particularly the pyramids in Giza. They're built out of limestone with quartz inside of them, so it's creating a gigantic piezoelectric circuit. It's also have the potential of using the water underneath the system for a dielectric constant or conductivity enhancement. There's a sound chamber inside a lot of them that they're built like into this kind of shape so that as the mechanical waves, this is my hypothesis, as the mechanical waves create pressure inward and the pressure of the weight going down inward due to gravity, the two together enhance the already piezoelectric circuit. These don't seem to be tombs, these don't seem to be for pharaohs who were really popular with their people and thousands of slaves built these. It seems to be they were very smart people. They understood mathematics, measurement, electricity, physics, and so they built something along the lines of our Hoover Dam. Now let's think of Tesla real quick, and let's think of how in the last 100, 150 years most of our technology has kind of just spiked. And before that we had thousands of years of maybe a blank spot. Almost. Relatively. If the Egyptians got this, or anything like this, and then something happened to them, a comet, solar flare, any number of things could have disrupted their path of evolution. And so let's picture something like that happens to us, and then 10,000 years from now people are trying to decide what the Hoover Dam was. They're like, no, it was purely to stop water. There could have been nothing else for it, you know. And us being alive today, we just know that it's also used to give us energy. Now again, this egg shape, if you buy one of these are called an orgone pyramid. They're under $100 typically. The guy, I will link you to him, his name is Jason O'Neill. If you see, he does really good work. This is a demonstration of the shape of the egg of life. This is happening due to electric and magnetic fields which the earth is producing, the sun is producing, rocks are producing. And then when you think about this shape, it's like how many creatures come out of this shape, right? Tons. And it's like when we think of the organization of life, everything is somehow mathematical. Everything is organized to some kind of intelligent design. Either which way, it seemed like the Egyptians seemed to understand this. And
see, he's talking about that Zet Tepi, the time of the first, time of the original, the time before time, legacy of the black gods. He's just talking about the things your ancestors did in their sleep, man. And that you about to start popping off once again and do it too. Alright, it's the completion of the cycle. And it's on the way back. And those who are surfing the wave to try, but they are aware and they're ready for it, and those who aren't don't know what's about to happen.
The future is going to, this is happening due to electric and magnetic fields which the Earth is producing, the Sun is producing, rocks are producing. And then when you think about this shape, it's like how many creatures come out of this shape, right? Tons. And it's like when we think of the organization of life, everything is somehow mathematical. Everything is organized to some kind of intelligent design. Either which way, it seemed like the Egyptians seemed to understand this. And the future is going to be into dielectric and magnetism. It's not going to be in Einstein particle physics, or CERN. It's going to be in dielectric, magnetism. It's going to be in high-speed space travel, mind reading, synthetic telepathy, gene hacking. If you're interested, look into this. Look into the megalithic Egyptians as opposed to the dynastic Egyptians. Look into piezoelectric circuits. What makes a piezoelectric circuit? P-E-I-Z-O electric circuit. There's more videos. If you look up Magnet Egg by Theoria Apophysis. Theoria as in like theory, and then Apophysis, A-P-O-P-H-I-S-I-S. He's got a lot of physics descriptions. I'll try to bring more of those to the table here soon. I wanted to make the video about pyramid power. This is proof that pyramid power is emitting a field. It's giving off energy. The energy it's giving off is not zero, you see? Proof. This is the field frozen in water. You can do this at your home for free, as long as you have one of these pyramids, a cup, and some water. And a freezer. If you ever get to freeze one of these in a small cup and you get to look down at it from a top view, you'll see the Charles Steinmetz electrical circuit, which is basically a dot with some circles going out of it and some lines. The lines represent radial and the circles represent circular magnetic. So radial is dielectric, circular is magnetic. This pyramid is producing this. Deep down underneath and up above, the pyramids in Giza are likely doing something similar. They were likely used to power the cities. We don't know what the rest of it was, but somehow they're keeping this from us, from the people who run the pyramids. It's not our government keeping this from us. We need to, if you just look a little deeper, the historians got it wrong, the science is there. Do a little digging.
See, your channeling of ether energy was a little bit different. It was a little bit different, and it was basically unmatched. And your grounding was perfect. Your understanding, your overstanding was perfect. I know how we can get, we start getting into pyramidal structures, and we think Atlantis or we think Thoth, right? But today I got a little treat for the Shabbat. I got a little something for the Shabbat because I'm going to show you without a doubt that the hijack known as Thoth had nothing to do with the pyramids and their construction. Maybe there was a little tampering as far as manipulation of certain energy waves and this and that, but when we're talking about the actual purpose, it was in harmony with the law of the Creator. So Thoth got some explaining to do. He got some real explaining to do when we talking about hijacking. So we gonna see. All these different monuments of an ancient world left behind, still showing you today just how far they took this information. You want to talk about in the middle of nowhere, in lush jungle, vegetation, Best believe the energy field out here is ridiculous. It's insane. Can you imagine the face of the hijack pulling up to a city better than the one that they left? Because they expected to find primitive people. If we're not talking original, if we're not talking primordial, real Etherians. Edifices. Keep in mind, right? Ether and edifices. Hearse. Look at what you're looking at. A divine display of perfect harmony with the nature around them. It was terrifying to see for a hijack. Terrifying to see for a hijack. It made Thoth want to come and tamper with what you was doing. I'm talking pyramid power, right? Talking about a wonder, a marvel. I'm talking symmetry. See? Steady showcasing an expression of that so-called serpent energy, that Kundalini, that Akasha. Shekinah. I remember telling you I was there too. I got to see it for myself. A young natural out there getting his scholarship on in the the things that I was told, I'll never forget. The things I was shown, I'll never forget. I mean, everything is in fine detail. Like, these ain't just, I mean, what we looking at right now, this isn't something off the internet. Right? This is my own documentation from being in the field myself, with the squad, with the team, with the tribe. You know, that's a high hoop, man. To bounce a 9-pound rubber ball off the side of your hip into this, no hands, no feet. We're talking the most athletic people in the world. The most athletic people in the world, man. The energy here is ancient, beyond imagine. I was there, like I told you. I had to feel this for myself. Right in this moment, the tour guide was explaining how these warriors, these depictions of these men, these warriors, would be in the heat of battle, man. Thousands on each side, and they would stop and let the two best warriors from each side compete in this game. Compete. And that's how loser was decided. That it wasn't all war and bloody like the way these hijacks want you to believe. Oh, full slaughter and sacrifice. Nah. It'd be no different than settling your differences at a so-called basketball, football game at your local coliseum. You pulling up ready for some friction. Well, I guess these days it's so far, huh? And I remember him explaining that they actually had locks of hair. The locks were so long it reached down into their back. He made sure he looked at me straight in the eye and said these people wore locks. Their hair was braided. And he said they were very athletic. And I'm under the assumption he knew that I knew about the truth of this place. Several of them did, actually. They kept using terms like Moreno, and I made it clear that I understood, I was aware, and they would laugh. And they were so happy to tell me about the Morenos that built this. He said long locks. He said they had long locks, man. He said, show your ride. Evidence displayed on the walls themselves. It was all happening. I mean, here we got this replica. Can't say this is a tobacco Indian. But I mean, look at the type, right? Look at the hair type. It's symbolized the same way. So it's giving me a clear view of what I was seeing, on who I was seeing. Of what I'm looking at. Seeing the walls for yourself makes a huge difference. It's just something about it that you can't get back. It's something about it that you can't be given anywhere else. If you know, you know. Peep it, right? Just a young Nat getting his exploration on, you know? Taking my notes and documenting my facts. When you do it big, you gotta do it big, man. If you're not doing it big for Hawaii, if you're not big enough for Hawaii, you might not even have a home to go back to, you know? Talking way up. Alright. See the face looking straight at you, right? Said a young Nat, man. A young one. I was like, man. And I still feel it. You know? I still feel it. I'll never forget a day like this. Just to give you a bit of a scaling, we're not talking about anything small. I'm talking humongous structures. Right? The thought, the work that went into this. For free. For free. You know what I'm saying? You can just tell in my vibe, I knew where I was, man. I knew what was happening. I was in the awareness. And peace to the young Nat, you know? You gotta be there to see there. You know, chilling right in between the two Dracons. It was like I always knew I was doing it for you. For the tribe. For the tribes. Oh, wow. See, they want to try to say that you wasn't up on it. That you wasn't observing the astral for yourself, the cosmos for yourself. Nah, you was doing it. This is how I know we was developing ether. You had these set up right here. Your own schools, your own universities, your own colleges, your own initiation sets up, you know? You know, they just want to tell you the observatory, Griffith Park. Nah, we was in the land, in the middle of the jungle getting it going. Astronomical features being built by observation, man. It was happening right here. High civilization, ether 5. No play. You know, I just sit back and smile, man. I just sit back and smile. It's an amazing feeling. See, they try to hit you with the 440 measurement, but when they actually go to dig on it, they find out it's really 432. They really find out it's 432, which would really mean that old Thoth boy then have the original idea the way he thought he did, right? And that he had to use that technology to implement the 440. It wasn't the pyramid. Cause they was lining it up with Ama, with Big Mama, with Grandma. They was lining it up with Mama, with Ama. Yeah, you see it. That 432 is the source, right? I mean, we getting back to the Wata. Even as we're digging on it right here, right, we see what looks like it can be a natal chart, and we're gonna get back in that pretty soon too. But we talking 432, we talking home team right about now. We charging up right about now. Elevation, quartz vision on fine tune, on high. Peace to the real one. Because we can get back to that 432, the hidden power of universal frequency and vibration. You're getting back home to your creator. You're going back to your ancient love song. We're talking your original frequency. And that vibration is a natural law. And that vibration is a natural law. Hawa, Hawa. I mean, you see it. The base of that pyramid is the 9. They've been trying to pass it off as the foreign frequency. Ethiopian, the Etherians not gonna let you down, Shabbatai. I got your back. Oh wow. You know, cause we still looking for that Indian king of the Orient. Still looking for that Indian king of the Orient, man. Cause we know we're in the Orient. We know this is India Superior. We know who the true Ethiopians are. The first Ethiopia. We still looking for that Indian king, man, of the Orient. You know, we talking feather crowns, we're just talking Ethiopians. A little bit similar in that headdress. Good shit. The hardest prison to escape from is the mind. And I hope that you seek freedom. I hope you find your way for free. Cause this is what we do those bills for. To give you your quartz vision. So that you don't become eroded. We just want to see you bust out. We just want to see you free. We just want you rocking within your vibration. We just want you to crystallize. We want you to let it go. Appreciate for everybody surfing the wave. Shouts out to you for being true. Shouts out to you for being true. Ahab as usual with the tribe that is Drive Nation. And again, you know, check out the Patreon. If we wasn't able to get this full thing, I would have definitely made a notice. So go ahead and catch that right about now. Much appreciation. Tawada, Hawa, Hawa. And of course, until the next time, my beautiful loved ones.